Okay, so this segment right here is being recorded after the rest of the video was recorded, but I'm like just clipping this in here before I finish off the video. After this video was recorded, there was news sent out to everyone attending the convention. I think anyone watching this video knows what it is. I don't think we're supposed to talk about it, so I'm not gonna say it specifically. But it's been pretty public all around, like anybody who's been following Integrity Toys news. The news is really disappointing. A lot of people are mad, people are upset. All of that is feelings completely valid. I myself am very disappointed, but I still want this to be a fun event overall, because there's been a lot of money and time and stuff put in to attending this event. So hopefully it'll still be somewhat decent, but it's definitely a very, very, very big bummer. I'll definitely, like, once I have videos of the actual event, I'll be able to go more in detail about it. But yeah, I did see the update. It is really unfortunate. It is true. And yeah, now we'll just, I guess, let the rest of the video play. Hello and welcome to another video. So in today's video, I am going to be talking all about my hopes and my theories and like what I'm expecting to see at the Integrity Toys Stilettos Out convention. So I wanted to start out by saying that if you do enjoy my type of content and videos and stuff like that, please, please, please like, comment, subscribe, like all the things that help me out. I really appreciate it. It keeps me motivated to keep going. And if you like Integrity Toys content, I am going to have a lot on the way because I'm attending the convention. I'm going to be sharing absolutely as much as I can. And yeah, you don't want to miss any of it. So for starters, I want to say if you hear any type of like noise in the background, I do apologize. It sounds like there's like a block party or something happening outside. I don't know, but there's music, people yelling, stuff like that. But anyway, this is a video I have been very excited to make and one I've been slowly working on in the background. And if you're watching this video like when it releases, I am currently at the Integrity Toys Stilettos Out Integrity Toys convention. I don't know why I messed up the words there. But yeah, I'm at the convention right now and I'm super excited. But this video I wanted to make it right now. It is October 12th. So I'm about 2 weeks away from the actual event right now while recording this. And I wanted to make a recording just kind of talking about like my predictions for what the event will be. I did something similar for the Seven Sins event that we had last year, just talking about like what I hope to see, what would be my guess of what might happen. And this is just something I do for fun. I don't do it to be like, this is how it should be. They need to do it this way. Like, I am open to whatever happens. I'm just excited in general to be going to a doll convention. But I did want to make a video just kind of like, I don't know, talking through like maybe some of my expectations, some of the things that I think could happen, things like that. And I thought it'd be fun to like share that with you guys. And then maybe after the convention, I can like compare to like what I thought was coming and what ended up actually happening. I don't know. I think that'd be kind of fun. Also, for a lot of this, I might be... Actually, you know what? I have my computer here, which has like a little PowerPoint for me to use for notes so that I don't forget anything. But I'll move it here, so I have it right here. So if you see me looking down, that's why. But yeah, so this is going to be an Integrity Toys Fashion Show Thriller Stilettos Out convention. And we've been given like little bits and clues as to like the vibe and what to expect, sort of, but I think a lot of it is still a mystery to a lot of people, myself included. So first I wanted to start off with just talking about the theme of the convention. So it is called Stilettos Out, and people were saying that's a reference to the movie. Well, is it like a series? Because there's two. Anyway, to the movie Knives Out. And if you haven't watched that show before, it's basically like a murder mystery. Both of them are, both movies. And it's really interesting. It has like some comedy roped in, and like it's a bunch of twists and turns to figuring out like who the killer is and stuff like that. So when I originally heard Knives Out, like Knives Out was an inspiration and it's Stilettos Out, I was like, okay, so we're thinking like murder mystery, but like high fashion and glamour through the Integrity Toys lens. And my mind immediately went to the board game Clue. First off, Clue is my absolute favorite board game. It has been since I was a child. Like anytime it was like family game night or something like that, I always wanted to play Clue. I didn't want to play Uno. I didn't want to play Bingo or Go Fish. None of that. No, I wanted to play Clue every single time. It is still to this day one of my ultimate board games. But also, if you haven't played Clue, or even if you have, it's literally a game where you're trying to figure out who the killer is and like what room the killer, what room, and what weapon they use to kill like whoever it is. Usually it's like the owner of the manor that it's all in, and it's like high glamour, and like each character has their own thing. They each have their own color associated with them, and I was like, what a fun idea that would be. Again, specifically catering, like it would be catering to my taste for sure, but I would just like, for example, my favorite character in the Clue board game is Miss Scarlet, and in most iterations of the board game, she's like a 1950s movie starlet or rising starlet, and she's like dressed in all red and very glamorous. So they have like all these different characters with this kind of like set idea. You know, Professor Plum in purple, Mrs. White is the maid, then you have Miss Peacock, who's like this old money rich woman. So they have like all these like themes, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to follow as like something with this. And that's what I thought it was going to be, like kind of like a murder mystery, and like, you know, we'll figure out clues, and maybe by the end of the convention we'll figure out who the killer is or something like that. But then everything changed the moment the Poppy was released. So I believe it was a couple months ago, we were given a pre-ski Poppy Parker, who was a pre-convention doll that everyone could pre-order, but she is related to the convention collection. And she's really cute. I could put up a photo of her here. I have a whole video where I talk about this doll. But they had this like little excerpt of the story so far with this doll release, and I can read that now. It says, many sought after ultra rare artifacts have disappeared all over the world, and no one, not even the savviest, most fashionable detectives and true crime bloggers, have been able to figure out how these seemingly disconnected items are related. It's a real mystery how someone as sweet and adorable as Poppy Parker can be involved. We don't have a clue, do you? In this world of high fashion intrigue, you'll visit a new exotic destination at each sit-down function, with more surprising twists and turns than you can fathom. Convention guests will be invited to navigate through a set of clues to hopefully connect the dots that will lead the big reveal of the weekend. Will you be one of the fashionable sleuths who can walk the walk along with your favorite characters and successfully figure it all out? When Poppy Parker was invited to model at the special event in the Swiss Alps, little did she know that her world was about to become more shaken than stirred. Fashionably dressed for a spectacular high-speed mountainside escape, Poppy Parker will soon find herself involved in a mystery where nothing is what it seems. But the main question is here, was she truly herself that day? Investigators and true crime bloggers alike are already on the case. The mystery will unfold sooner or later. So that's kind of like the whole excerpt. And based off of this, it sounds more, it's less murder mystery, like where I was going with it. And it sounds more like it's like secret heist, more like Sherlock Holmes uncovering the mystery to find these like hidden artifacts situation. So now I'm kind of leaning like that way a bit, like less murder mystery, more Sherlock Holmes-ish, I guess. And I'm still not even sure that's necessarily like 100% right. But what I'm imagining now is almost like a glamorous version of like Guess Who. Like maybe convention attendees will be trying to figure out who's the thief, and we'll be given clues and stuff like that, and eventually the big reveal will be like where the jewels are, who took them, stuff like that. And maybe that'll be like the final gala doll is like, oh, here's the thief and she's super glamorous or something. So like now I'm thinking it's gonna be more like, and less like Clue, but if I was to compare it to another board game, more like a Guess Who, where we're slowly like removing what's the word? Why can I not think of the word? It would be suspects. There we go. I don't know why that was so hard for me. So it's like kind of like eliminating suspects as we go, possibly, maybe. I don't know. But I think it'd be kind of interesting. It'd be kind of cool. And then I started thinking about like how would Integrity Toys represent this to like make sense? And then I started thinking of the convention like giveaway doll. So the giveaway doll is a doll that is included with your ticket. So anyone who's attending the convention is guaranteed this doll. I think that could be a really good way. Like a convention doll would be a really good way to kind of conclude the event, because it's a doll that every single person at the event will be getting. We're not going to have to pay extra. So it's not like you're having to pay extra for the conclusion necessarily. I think like that a good way to do it would be the souvenir doll. And I started thinking like, well, how would they do that? And then I started like looking at some of like the past convention dolls, and there's been times when the souvenir doll is like a gift set, like a Doll's Life Vanessa Perrin from the Obsession convention. But I think the perfect example of what I'm thinking of would be the Sweet Dreams Naja Rhymes. So Sweet Dreams Naja Rhymes, they were given the doll, and then they were given another outfit, and then they had like the sleeping variant, blah, blah, blah. It's like they were slowly putting together this set, and like at each little sit down, they were given a piece based off of the videos I've seen of past conventions. I was not there to attend. I just was able to watch other people's content to see it. So I was thinking like, what if like each sit down or each little event at the convention is they give you another clue, which could be like an accessory or, you know, a certain outfit and stuff like that. And you don't actually know who the character is until the very last event on the last day of the convention. Then you finally figure out who the character is and you've completed your doll. I think that'd be a really cool way to do it, considering it's supposed to be like a mystery, and it also leaves a lot of like room for speculation amongst the guests and things like that. So maybe that could be cool. Like, I'm not sure, but that's where my mind went, just to like start slowly picking up the thing. But again, with it being like a jewel artifact heist, maybe there's a doll from each event that has like a piece of the puzzle, and it's not necessarily the giveaway doll. I'm not sure, but my favorite is definitely the idea of this. We slowly get pieces of the souvenir doll, and they're finally like fully revealed after the last event. I think that'd be super cool. And on top of that, it seems like, based off of watching the past videos with the Sweet Dreams Naja, it's like they're given that doll, and they don't have the full set, but they still left that event with this doll. So it's like everybody has their own physical version of a clue. So like everyone walks out with a certain set of jewelry, or everyone walks out with a certain outfit, and you can all look at it and be like, oh, look, I found this like detail. Did you see this in it? And then you can look at your own version of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a clue, but everyone has an exact replica of the same clue. I don't know. I thought it was a cool idea. But I'm very interested to see where it's going. And what I'm most interested in is like the art style. I think that's what's been hardest for me to like figure out. Like, are we going like modern, or are we going like kind of like vintage glamour like Clue is? Or is it going to be more like Sherlock Holmes type situation? I can't really figure out like what the exact art style is going to be, but I can kind of understand the overall theme. I'm really interested to see it. I could be happy with any of those directions. But the next thing I want to talk about is the Style Lab. So the Style Lab, we know, is going to have 7 dolls, and it's going to be New Face. And from what I can tell, I could be wrong, but it seems like there's 7 dolls, and then there's a Build-A-Doll. So like technically there are 8 dolls, if I'm correct. Or it could be there's 6 dolls, and then the 7th doll is the Build-A-Doll. But based off of what I read, if I read it correctly, there's 7 dolls, and then there's an 8th doll that is a Build-A-Doll. So for people who don't know how that works, based off of watching past videos, there are 7 new dolls, and then there's 7 outfits, and there's like suggestions like doll 1 goes with fashion A and doll 2 with fashion B, but you can get doll 1 in fashion C, even though they weren't like made or they're not suggested to be together. You can mix and match any way you want, which is a really cool idea. I'm excited to be able to experience that. But each of the dolls come with like a secret piece of fashion, and each of the outfits come with a secret piece to the Build-A-Doll. So if you buy the entire collection, you can completely build the Build-A-Doll. So it's like each one has a secret piece, but like you don't know which one. So like the fashion B could have the head, but let's say I go in, I love fashion A, C, and D, and I buy all of that, and now I have pieces of the doll, but now I don't have the head of the doll at the end, you know? So it's kind of a mystery, but also that's why it's like an incentive to just buy the entire fashion Style Lab. So you can get the entire Build-A-Doll, you have everything. And also the fashions do like typically relate to the theme, but also they can be a little different. For example, there's been a Poppy Parker Style Lab and everything's Poppy Parker, but it still kind of relates to the theme. Or during the Fashion Fairy Tale Style Lab, like it was all the theme of Alice in Wonderland, but it's still related to the overall theme of fairy tales. So, not to bring it up again, but I think this would be the perfect way to implement the board game Clue. Again, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm like not trying to overbash it. As you can tell, I'm very passionate about the game Clue, but it's set characters and set colors. So how perfect would it be for the Style Lab to literally be characters like inspirations from the board game Clue? Because there is a Professor Plum, there's a purple professor character, there's Mrs. White, the maid, there's Miss Scarlet, the starlet, there's Miss Peacock, the old money, there's Colonel Mustard from the military. What are some more? Mr. and Mrs. Green, I believe, is another one. There's like a couple characters. Definitely we could reach like 8 level of characters, and it would be so, I don't know, so cool and interesting to me, especially if like the Build-A-Doll was like the secretly murdered person or something like that. I think it would be a really fun way to do it. And again, I love the like over the top, like if you look at Up Clue, they have very over the top fashions, very flamboyant, very like murder mystery in a Victorian house. So I would definitely love it. It would be really cool, but again, I'm kind of okay with whatever they do because this entire Style Lab is New Face and it is completely designed by Jesse Ayala, and I very often am pretty happy with anything Jesse designs, so I'm not like at all really afraid of what Jesse could bring to Style Lab. So even if it's not Clue, even though I think that'd be such a fun idea, I do think the Style Lab's still gonna be really good. So talking more about the Style Lab, and we know there are 7 characters, and then there's an 8th build a character. Again, if I read it correctly, I may have misread it. Could be 6 with the 7th build character, but we're going with the idea it's 7 and an 8th buildable character. I looked at every single New Face character and I fully like put them up in a PowerPoint. I put it all together, and then I was like, okay, let's go through here and think of who I want to see, who I think will be there, and who I don't want to see. So I literally built that into 3 different categories, and I'm gonna reveal my dream team of like who I'd love to see at the very end. But first, I'm gonna start off with New Face characters I definitely think are gonna be at the convention. And the ones I definitely think are gonna be there, and this is just because I could think of 4 characters that are just insanely popular within New Face, and if these New Face characters weren't present, I would be very shocked. Like I would be completely like surprised if any of these 4 weren't present. And those 4 are Eden and Lilith, the twins. I think Eden and Lilith in a Style Lab makes complete sense. Very often when we get one, we typically get the other later and they end up being companion dolls. So like, or they release together as a 2-pack like we saw pretty recently. or I think that was last club year, we saw, what was it, Poetic Interlude? I'll put up the photos, but they came as a 2-pack last year. So having the two of them in a style lab, like automatic, the sisters are together, it just makes sense to me, and they are so popular amongst collectors. Another doll that, again, I definitely expect to see there. We haven't seen her this club year yet, and I know she's one that Jesse seems to like, and that is Erin 2.0. Erin is a huge fan favorite amongst collectors. So, and the last Erin we got, I believe, was, I was about to say Sweet Temptation. That's not correct. The last one we got was Tantrum, Erin Sulston, from the Seven Sins event. And she became almost like an instant grail. People were obsessed with her. People still are wanting, like, she's still a highly sought after doll, and she hasn't even been out a year yet, or she just hit a year basically, because she was the Seven Sins event. But Erin is always a fan favorite, so I think an Erin is more or less guaranteed to be in the style lab. And the last doll that I think is definitely guaranteed to be in the style lab, because she is another fan favorite, that is Naja 2.0. Because Naja, she's beautiful, she's a fan favorite, and again, I don't think the last one we saw of her was the gift set from last club year. I'll put a photo up of it here, but we haven't had a Naja yet this year, so I could definitely see Naja coming out. So yeah, those are the ones I 100%, okay, I'm not gonna say 100%, but those are the 4 that I definitely think are going to be in the style lab. Now I'm gonna talk about 4 that I hope not to see in the style lab. I only have 4. I'm more or less happy with anything, and again, like I said, if these end up in the style lab, I'm sure Jessie does an incredible job with their face-ups and everything, to a point where, like, they look really good. But yeah, let's get into these. The first one is the Erin 1.0 sculpt. This is a sculpt we haven't seen in a while. I don't know if it's officially retired, but if there's going to be an Erin, I just prefer it to be the Erin 2.0 sculpt. And that, there's nothing else other than that. It's just, if there's an Erin, make her Erin 2.0. I'd rather not see the Erin 1.0. I just feel like she's cute, but just Erin 2.0 is better. The second one is another situation that I just talked about, and it is Colette 1.0. I'll talk about the newer Colette sculpt in a second as a hint, but the Colette 1.0 sculpt, it's not necessarily a bad sculpt. It's just like, I prefer the newer sculpt, similar to the Erin. So if there is going to be a Colette there, I prefer it to be the newer Colette sculpt. And that's just more or less, I guess, how I feel. No, don't hate it. If she's there, I'm sure she's going to look amazing. She has had some decent releases, but I just like am more partial towards the newer Colette. The next doll that I'd prefer not to see in the style lab is Carolyn Stone. Now, I just think Carolyn has a very, very, very specific face, and it's not that I don't think she can be pretty, because I'll put on the screen, like, she had like this basic, I guess a basics doll, or is kind of like what it's called, but like, this like one in just underwear, and she was a very pretty Carolyn, but also Carolyn can look really off at the same time, just because she has such a set look that I'm just like, I'd rather not chance it. I'd rather see one of the dolls that I love and I do enjoy the face sculpt of. And that's kind of it. Another one I prefer not to see is Takeo. I believe that's how you say his name. For him, it's just, if there's gonna be a boy in the style lab, which I think I'd kind of prefer there not to be a boy in the style lab, because one of my favorite things about the style lab is the mix and match features. So if there's gonna be a boy, I wouldn't want there to only be one, because he doesn't have any outfits to change with. But then there's 2 boys and there's only 7, so I'd like rather them just be all girls. But if there are boys, then I'd prefer it to be the other New Face boys, like our good old guy Thiago. Like, I'd very much prefer that over Takeo. So like, he's just like my least favorite New Face guy. So now I am gonna talk about my dream team, the characters I personally would love to see in the style lab. Now, I want to start this by saying this is completely just my bias. The like sculpts I prefer and what I'd love to see. It's not necessarily like, oh, we haven't seen this doll, so I think she's definitely going to be there. These aren't my predictions. These are just what I would like to see. And we're going to start that off with Alejandra Luna. Of course, I'd love to see Alejandra Luna. I love Alejandra Luna. So yeah, seeing another Alejandra that can come into my collection, would love to see it. But I have absolutely no shame in saying that I would love to have another Alejandra. That's simply it. Another doll that I would love to see is, I'll go ahead and say both of the next two, is an Erin and a Naja. Again, I think these two are already guaranteed to be in the Style Lab because they are so popular. And I'd love to see them. I still do not have a Naja, which feels like a crime. I still love the printed in pink Naja. She's so beautiful. Hope to get her one day, but yeah, I think these two are guaranteed to be there, and I also would love to see them. And also, I would not be surprised, like, at all, if the Secret Build-A-Doll was one of these two, because they are so popular. It just even pushes more incentive, because the Build-A-Doll, while also being a special thing you put together, is typically like, it based off of like some of the past ones I've seen and like how other people talk about it, sometimes is the most sought after doll from the Style Lab. It's kind of like the best one in the entire Style Lab is the special Build-A-Doll. So it's an even like extra incentive to go for the complete collection. And I would not be surprised if Erin and Naja were one of the two of them were the Build-A-Doll. Like, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So another doll that I would enjoy seeing in the Style Lab is Colette 2.5. So I already talked about, like, I'd prefer not to see Colette 1.0, and that is because I would prefer to see Colette 2.5. She is very pretty. I really like her. I have 0 Colettes, and again, I wouldn't be mad at a Colette 1.0 because I'm sure she'd be beautiful, but if I were to choose the sculpt, they asked me like, okay, we're doing Colette, which one would you want to see? I'd love to see a 2.5. I think she's really pretty. I don't have a Colette yet, so yeah. And also, I don't think there's been a Colette release in a while now, so that's also something that'd be pretty exciting. The next doll that I would like to see, and this one, similar to Alejandra, it's probably less likely due to recent releases, but I'd still love to see, is a Reina. I know we just had the upgrade doll. I have Sweet Retreat Reina, but I would still love to see another Reina. I have recently really fallen in love with her face sculpt. I think she's such a pretty doll. So I would really, really, really enjoy to see Reina again. She's just a pretty doll. She's one of my favorites from New Face, so yeah, I'd love to see her. Now, the last two, these are probably my top of the wish list, what I would want to see. I haven't been saying them in any certain order, but these two I really, really, really would love to see in the Style Lab. They are two sculpts I don't have. They haven't had releases since I've been a collector, but I think, okay, actually that's not true. One of them has had a release since I've been a collector, but they're both really beautiful and I don't own either one. And the first one I'm gonna talk about is Ayumi 3.0. She has such a pretty face. She is so beautiful and I'd love to see her in the Style Lab. Like, I would love to own an Ayumi, so if she was in the Style Lab, she's 100% one of the ones. Honestly, any of these that I just listed, if they're in the Style Lab, chances are I'm gonna go for them. I don't know if I'm gonna go for the whole collection Build-A-Doll. Like, I don't want to get the whole collection just for the Build-A-Doll. Now, if the Build-A-Doll was like an Alejandra Luna that is stunning, then okay, I'm gonna have to get the whole collection. But unless I like everything or almost everything in the collection and I really love the Build-A-Doll, I don't know that I'm gonna go for the entire Style Lab. We'll see how I feel when we get there because everything can change. I could get caught up in the moment, but anyways, back to Ayumi. There has been an Ayumi released since I've been a collector. I'll put a photo of her here. I did not enter for her. She was a lottery doll from the Moments collection last year, but I would love to get Ayumi 3.0. She's a very beautiful doll, and I'd love to own one. Then the last doll that I would like to see in the Style Lab is Dominique 2.0. This is a doll I haven't seen released since I've been a collector, but I think she's a very beautiful doll, a really fun face sculpt, and one I'd like to have in my collection. Like, I think her legendary doll, the one with like the flocked hair and like that really motocross outfit, like was such a cool doll. She's also had some other pretty cool releases. She's just a really, really, really cool doll, really nice face sculpt, one I don't own yet. And it seems like I've seen some other people say she's one they'd like to see as well. So I really do hope Dominique makes an appearance in the Style Lab. So that kind of like wraps up all of my like what I'd like to see and my predictions and hopes for the convention. When this video comes out, there might, I'm sure, I am absolutely sure, there's already been like things coming out about what we're at the convention and stuff like that. So like some of you have probably already seen the actual stuff from the convention to a degree. Like, I don't know if we're allowed to share stuff live as it's happening, or we have to wait till after the event. I have to find that out. But yeah, this is what I'm hoping to see 2 weeks ahead. I don't know. I'm really excited for it. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. I am sure I'm taking incredible videos all weekend. I really do want to vlog as much as possible. I haven't fully decided how I'm going to break the video up and upload it. What I'm thinking is that I'm gonna break it up, since it's a 3-day convention, because we have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to like break it up into 3 separate videos. That way I can cover as much content as possible in that day, and then I can get it to you quicker, because it'll be quicker for me to like edit day 1 and then publish it so you all can see it than it would be to edit day 1, day 2, day 3, and then get it all together and then post it. Because if I do it just day 1, then maybe I could get that video up from when you're watching this, I could get it up this upcoming Monday, which would be what, November, oh no, it'd still be October 28th. Maybe I could have like day 1 of the convention already edited if I spend like all Sunday editing. I'm not sure, don't hold me to that, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. So like, instead of my weekly videos, I'll do multiple uploads so that I can more quickly share the content, because I know you all want to see it. I would want to see it. So I'm going to do my best. Just be patient with me. I promise I'm going to get it out. I'm going to try to cover the content as much as possible. I'm like clearing so much stuff off my phone so I have room for photos and videos and everything. But yeah, I'm really excited. I hope you're all excited to see it too. And then I am sure basically the rest of this year is just going to be me opening and sharing and talking about the convention. Like, I'm sure there'll be a video opening this doll and like da-da-da-da. So a lot of Integrity Toys content is coming your way. I have nothing planned but Integrity Toys content for the next couple weeks at the very least. So I hope you're all excited and ready for it. I know I'm excited, and yeah. So with all that wrapped up and all that covered, I don't need to keep going on just saying I'm excited. I really am, but I'm going to get everything to you guys as quick and as soon as possible. As I said in the beginning of this video, a like, a comment, subscribe. It really helps out. I've been growing a bit and I'm really enjoying it. I've been really motivated to make content for you guys. And if you enjoy Integrity Toys content, like I said, there's going to be a lot more to come. Like, with all of this stuff happening, there's so much more Integrity Toys content to come. So definitely like subscribe so my videos get up on your page and everything like that. But also, as always, down in the description below, you'll find my information, like my Instagram, which is his.dolls on Instagram. You can find the link to me and my brother's podcast, which there is some doll stuff I talk about in there as well. But it's a podcast where we just talk about what we're obsessed with each week. It's here on Spotify, here on YouTube and on Spotify. But yeah, I think that's about it, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.